Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Dream Team Tonic podcast. Tonight, we're joined by our usual duo. We've got Tony. How you doing?
Good evening, Scott.
Mr. Jackson himself.
Ow!
We've got Ben. You're not
How
in the
you
mud.
doing?
You're in the flood, aren't you, today?
In the flood, don't talk about it.
No,
I've sorted it all out now. Kitchen was flooded earlier. Sorted it.
Not flooded with tears over your team.
Hey, we're going up, son. Back in the frame.
And then we have got a special guest with us this evening. Experienced Dream Team manager, came third back in 1998-1999 season. And he's a regular on the AFTV Tactical Insight show. Welcome, Graham Brooks, to the podcast. How you doing?
I'm very well, Scott. It's a privilege and a pleasure to join you boys. I think you boys are absolute legends. I love the show that you do, and it's a great honour to be given the opportunity to be one of your guests tonight.
Absolutely flattered to have you, mate.
I
can safely say that I'm, as an Arsenal fan, a viewer of your show. I probably don't speak for a lot of our Patreon members in the chat. I think I'm one of very few Arsenal fans actually in there, but I promise that I'll try to keep it a Dream Team pod and not so much as an Arsenal pod, but we'll do our best. Maybe we'll throw a little bit of Arsenal in there. But no, it's great to have you.
Thank you, mate.
We'll kick it off actually. Well, I'll just say hello to a few people in the chat. We've got Nathan Wisby in the chat. We've got Graham, not you, different Graham. Do shouts out if you're listening live. But we wanted to do a quick little intro with you because you've got a cracking story, really, of firstly how you got started on Dream Team, but also your season where you got a top 3 finish because it looked like you was going to do the number 1. So, yeah, do you want to tell us how you first got into Dream Team and then talk us through that season a little bit?
Yeah, well, like you, mate, I'm a big Arsenal fan. Always followed football. Always been interested in stats and things like that. When Dream Team started off in the Sun, I think 1994, 95, around then, I entered that first season. And it was smaller then, or it quickly grew to be big, obviously, but it still was very large because obviously the Sun's a national newspaper that obviously has got big circulation and a lot of readers. So that first season, I actually entered the side and I went away to America with my family, came back from America and I was 5th in the table. I couldn't believe it. But the difference was, as you'll hear in my story, you didn't get like the transfers on a weekly basis that you get now. You picked your team at the start of the season. You had your budget. You could only pick 2 players from one club. The point scoring system was totally different. You scored points for a goal or a clean sheet, and then their reporters marked a player out as 10. If they gave it a 7, you got 2 extra points. You obviously got minus points for cards, sending offs, and things like that. But that first season, sort of, I had a team in the top 5 for a while, but didn't get anywhere. But the season that you're talking about was a 1998-99 season. It was the year that Man United won the treble, so that hurt. Being an Arsenal fan, I don't pick my team based on the fact that I'm going to pick Arsenal players. I pick the best team. I even put a Tottenham player in my team. That's just shows how it was. But my team that year, I'll tell you, was Walker in goal. Some of your younger members probably won't have heard of some of these players, but Ian Walker of Spurs in goal. I had a back 4 of Dennis Irwin, Man United, who took the penalties for Man United. Martin Keown of Arsenal, Southgate, Aston Villa, the current England manager, and Frank Leboeuf, who took the penalties for Chelsea. I had Gus Poyet of Chelsea. I had Lee Bowyer of Leeds and Benito Carboni in my midfield. And I started off with Andy Cole of Man United, Dwight York of Aston Villa, and Zola of Chelsea up front. And York eventually transferred to Man United. So I ended up with 2 Man United forwards. Now, at Christmas, you could make your 2 transfers. Poyet got injured just before Christmas. I wanted to bring Robbie Fowler in, who had been injured at the start of the season, so I didn't pick him. So I moved out Zola, put Fowler in, and I then put Trevor Sinclair into my team, the West Ham player, into my midfield. Now, I thought, the best attacking players that season. I had Cole York, who was scoring big goals for Man United. Man United, and I had Robbie Fowler. So I was quickly in the top 100. The moment I brought Fowler in, he started scoring goals. I went to the top 100. By the end of January, I was leading the competition. And my rivals all had like Harry Kewell of Leeds up front. He was a great player, but he didn't score that many goals. And I was winning it. I was winning it quite comfortably. And then it started to go. Pardon?
How did you know what position you were in back then?
Well, because every week you literally it's different then. So when you picked your team, you did it over the phone manually. So if you wanted to pick, say, Robbie Fowler, you dial in 022 Robbie Fowler. He would say, "You have chosen Robbie Fowler. Press 1 to accept or 2 to decline." So, and then every week you'd ring up for your position. So you used to ring up every Friday, and it updated on the Friday, so you knew where you were.
Oh, okay.
And they would sort of like contact me for a comment, because on Saturday morning they put the top 5 table up and who was leading it. And Graham Brooks is leading this week. Robbie Fowler scored a hat-trick at Coventry, blah, blah, blah. And they'd ask you for a comment, you know. So I was in the paper every Saturday morning, you know, as they were doing a little sort of like piece on the competition. Now, it unravelled for me in April. I was winning it. I think I would have won it. I would have got 100k. But Liverpool played Everton in the Merseyside derby in mid-April. And that week, there was a lot of speculation in the Mersey press that Robbie Fowler was sniffing coke. And when that game happened on the Saturday morning, I think it was an early kickoff, I think, he scored a hat-trick. So I banged a lot of points from his hat-trick. But when he got his second goal, or first goal it might have been, which was a penalty, when he went in the net, it was at the end where the Everton supporters are. If you know, it wasn't the Anfield Road end. It was not the Cop end. It was the other end. So he went down on his hands and knees on the goal line and started making out he was sniffing coke in front of the Everton fans.
Oh, brilliant.
And the Everton fans absolutely rioted, apparently, behind the goal. And then I heard that he was in trouble, and I'm thinking, please don't suspend him. Please don't suspend him.
Only 2
And of course, because I needed him for the last 6 or 7 games of the season. And I was leading it by about 50 points. They gave him a 6-game ban. But I think they said it was 3 games this year and 3 games next season. And he asked if he could serve all 6 this season. They gave it to him. So I lost him for the last 6 games of the season. And I was playing with 10 for the last 6 games. And then the guys behind me started, obviously had 3 forwards. And ultimately 2 of them overtook me. So I finished 3rd. You know, I've still got a nice prize, but had he not done that, I think I would have won the competition. I got 100 grand. My wife was looking at houses at the time.
Oh.
So,
you know, there's a thing on this pod, Graham. You know, Robbie Fowler, he used to play for Rovers, you know.
I'll tell you what really did sort of like piss me off was I went to my brother immigrated to Australia, and we went to see some Test cricket.
Ended up out there, didn't he?
Yeah, we went to see some Test cricket in Australia, and he said, "Oh, my local team's playing in the Australian League. They just signed bloody Robbie Fowler." So I saw Robbie Fowler playing in the Australian League. Can you believe that? But ultimately, yeah, it's a good story. I mean, you know, and I've loved Dream Team. I've never got close to what I did that season ever again. As you can see from all my points this season, and even behind Scott and I know Tony. I don't know where Ben is actually, but you know, I've had a reasonable season. I'm in the top 900, about 950, I think, actually, top 1K. But I did get as high as nearly 400, I think, at one stage. But you know, I've done okay. But I'll never probably get another chance to win Dream Team again. But I love the game. I think it's evolved, and it's been a lot of fun. And the moment I got put on, you know, guys at work alerted me to what you guys did. I really do enjoy your content. So it's, you know, I know I do tactical stuff on AFTV, but I just love hearing the way you do your shows and the way Scott breaks it down. It's a real joy to watch.
Oh, cheers.
There's always
crazy,
next year, Graham.
Sorry?
There's always next year to win it.
Yeah,
there's always next year. Yeah.
You're never going to have worse luck than that.
No, I've never had worse luck than that. I mean, it's unbelievable when you think about it, isn't it? I mean, but you only had 2 transfers. If it had been like this year, where you had 2 transfers every week, I'd have been all right, wouldn't I?
Oh, you'd be all right. Get Robbie out of there. You've been fine.
Good job you ain't got a phone.
A few weeks.
Got a phone in every time you want to make 2 transfers.
Graham, just touching on that phoning in, because that is one of my earliest memories of Dream Team, when I used to put a team in. My dad used to put it in for me. And I remember him being on the phone. That must have been a premium rate phone number.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember when you're saying, like, 0822, right, so that's Robbie Fowler. You want to transfer him out, and he'd say, right, Anthony, what number, like, for your player that you're transferring in? I'd go 0811, and he'd go, that's such a body, and it'd go, you do not have enough funds to make the transfer. And he'd be absolutely fuming. He's like, do you know how much this is costing me? I'm like, hold on. Done my sums wrong. Oh, God. He used to want to kill us. But yeah, that is my earliest memory of Dream Team, that.
Yeah. I mean, it really has evolved, hasn't it, from where it was? I mean, but you would literally then, when I was in the competition, you were down to what the reporter's interpretation of the game was. If he decided your player had a good game and you got a 7 out of 10, you got additional 2 points. But I used to watch games. That season when I was winning it, I used to watch games all the time, even games, every game I could watch. And I used to see the reports the next day, and he was fuming. How could he not give Andy Cole a 7 out of 10? He was brilliant, that's what it was, really. But now it's obviously better because it's based on Opta stats, and it's all, it's not down to a reporter's impression of how they play.
Yeah, definitely.
I
agree.
I did say I'll try to keep the Arsenal talk to a minimum, but I just wanted to ask you, really, how did you get started sort of doing the AFTV Tactical Insight show? I know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea because not everyone's Arsenal fans, but they might see a little bit of if they're looking to maybe transfer in a Havertz. If they'd have watched your last episode, they might have had a bit more reassurance, or your comments on the corner strategies. So
yeah, I mean, it's funny you mentioned Havertz, a German, there, because it was a German coming to Arsenal that sort of like started it for me. I can remember when Ozil joined Arsenal around 2014, how excited we were, and so much so that the German TV stations sent reporters over to the Emirates, and there was a German reporter doing a sort of like there was a camera there, and 2 people were asking Arsenal fans about what they thought, whether they first of all thought Ozil would be a good signing, what they thought he could bring to the club, and I gave an interview, I think, to them, which I told they dubbed into German to go onto their channel that night. So that was the start of it. I got interviewed, I think, outside the ground by a German station, and on Ozil coming to the club. And then I can remember my son saying to me, "Have you heard of AFTV, Dad?" And I was like, "No." He said, "Why don't you do interviews for them?" And I thought, I've never even heard of them, to be honest. And then he showed me a few of the rants from some of the members who were on at the time. And I thought, well, I can't do that. That's not my style. So I didn't go on straight away. But about a year later, I did give an interview. And I started to give a few interviews on the channel every now and then. And my son at the time was about 12, 13. We used to go to all the Arsenal home games. And I started to do more interviews. And then I got a lot of, funny enough, my interviews were different to the interviews from DT troops and all those type of characters who were ranting a lot. Mine was more based on what I saw in the game, talking about what Arsenal did tactically in the game. So my interviews went very much against the grain of what was going on at the time. But I started to get a lot of good comments. This guy is sort of like, it's quite nice to listen to, different to the normal stuff. And then Robbie just approached me one day and said, "Do you know what?" He says, "I've been thinking, would you be interested in doing a tactical show?" And he said, "I'll let you do it. With you." So it started from there, really. And at the time, AFTV had a studio up near Trafalgar Square. So I used to go up on the train and I used to put it together, and he used to let me set it up on a whiteboard in an office. And he used to come in, we used to talk around how I set it up on a whiteboard about the games. And then it evolved to sort of like magnets, because people were saying, "Give the guy some magnets, give him something to sort of work with." So then I was moving magnets around on a board, and then we went into computers. He started setting it up then, where we started using electronics and all that and computers. And now it's evolved to now where they've moved now from Trafalgar Square to nearer the ground at the Emirates, just down the road from the ground. He's bought a bigger studio, and of course he does his other DR sports as well as AFTV. And I work now with a guy who's a brilliant presenter called James Bayliss, who's really good at what he does. And we put it together. And we use a tactical pad just like they would in, say, Sky Sports Studio and that sort of stuff. And me and him put it together, and we record it once a week. We got a very sort of like a formula that works. We got like match stats. We got like he breaks down a goal, which he's really good at. We have these formations up. We move people around on the board, and we sort of like talk about the tactics, and we analyze players. We give the stats of the players, and we have like a topic of the day or something, and we close it with closing stats. It's a formula that's working pretty well on the channel. I think it's different, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it. So, and all the time people enjoy it, and Robbie gives me the opportunity, I'll carry on doing it. But I've been doing it, I suppose, now for about 5 years, apart from 1 year when COVID was in, and we had stopped doing it for about a year, just over a year because of COVID. But yeah, so that's how that happened, Scott.
What we could do, lads, one day we might have a studio breaking down the old Dream Team news.
Yeah, that could be good, couldn't it? That could be good. Yeah.
Well, talking.
You'd have to move up north, though, Scott, because beer's cheaper up here, mate.
Oh yeah, I'll do that, mate. I'll do that. I'll have a bit more spare.
Guinness is only £3 up here.
Yeah, I'm sold on moving north since I got that £3 Guinness in Coventry. I'm there. So we'll put a link in the description below for the Tactical Insight show if anyone's interested. But we'll kick it off quickly with the top point scorers so far for the week. I've already had a bit of stick on this. Erling Haaland at the top. Why are you recommending Ollie Watkins? You should have recommended Haaland as the captain. What were we doing, lads?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's all right having hindsight, isn't it? Just as we're speaking off air, just the same thing is you've got to play it a little bit sensibly sometimes, and Ollie Watkins having 2 games over any other striker or any other attacking player, obviously other than his own teammates, Douglas Luiz, Leon Bailey, it's the sensible option. You never say don't take a punt. Haaland at home to Wolves. Yeah, I think we said in the live thing, I think I said about him scoring 5 goals, didn't I?
We said we wouldn't be surprised if he scored a hat-trick.
But you've got to be happy with your decision at the time. And if Haaland blanked and Watkins goes on to score a couple each game, you're kicking yourself more because you've not done what is not just like the norm, or it's about like percentages and stuff, and you've got to play the percentages, and the percentages say that Watkins would probably outscore Haaland that week. That's just what it is. If you go against it, exactly like I did a few weeks previous going against Bruno, sometimes it burns you, and it hurt me hard. So yeah, this week I played it safe, went Watkins, and yeah.
Was it a full house? Were we all Watkins captainers? What were you on, Graham?
Yeah, I captained Watkins, regrettably.
You blaming us for it?
Pardon?
Are you blaming us for it?
Sorry?
Are you blaming us for it?
No, because I was always going to captain him because he had, as Tony said, he had a double game week. So and Haaland had just come back from injury. I actually put Haaland in the previous week when you guys broke the story about Salah. So you helped me there. I put Haaland in. I think you didn't go down that route, Scott, did you? I remember you were sort of like umming and ahhing about with it. But I put Haaland in, and then but I was always I was working Friday night, so I didn't see the show this week. But I was always going to go Watkins. It was as Tony said, it was you play the averages, and I didn't expect the 2 people in my mini league to below me to both sort of like Captain Haaland. So that was a a big disappointment. I did the tactical show with James, and I came downstairs from where we recorded on Saturday in the studio, and they had the Man City game on. I just kept thinking, Haaland, please don't score, please don't score. I left when he got his third. so I got burned, as you guys say, but you know, Watkins could still do something in Greece. Villa are chasing the game, so hopefully he'll get a goal or two in Greece.
Or four.
But the only thing is, guys, I don't think, just quickly, he's more prolific when he's at home, isn't he, than he is away from home, would you say?
Yeah. That's
the only worry this week. He had 2 away games, didn't he? I watched the Brighton Villa game today. It wasn't a great game. It's literally, they just didn't get the ball to him, literally.
He had didn't have any shots, and he had 3 touches in the box.
Wow.
Game.
I mean, they're going to go into this Olympiacos game. They have to start at the front foot. They're going to have to set out to be attacking, because there's no other way they're going to get through to this final. So forget about a clean sheet. Forget about keeping it tight. They have to go out there, attack, put Olympiacos on the back foot. And there's a chance Watkins might grab a couple. There's a chance. And if he does, it'll really ease that pain of that haul. But again, most people captain Watkins anyway.
Yeah, 11 matches it was. 11 matches it's been since Villa failed to score as well. It's just like one of them typical scenarios.
Yeah, it is.
You got your boy Tony. So do you want to take the lead on NJ?
Oh, honestly, he's been a diamond the last couple of weeks. I think we were touching on him in the questions, but yeah. So I don't want to throw too much superlatives his way, but he's been good. When you just spot there's a little bit of an inkling about a player. He started to perform. He's always missed chances, Jackson, but there's something about him. He's there, and he's quite he's tough skinned. He's like, you don't care that he misses a chance. He'll still be there for that next one. And he's done well this week.
He took his goal really well against Spurs, didn't he?
Yeah,
that was a really good header.
Really good header. Just and then obviously a couple against West Ham, an assist. He's done all right. Well happy.
Are we regretting taking Salah out? I know he was benched, so at the time it was okay. But is that one that you just write off, Ben? Do you want to?
No, I don't regret it. Like you say, he was benched and his fixtures are running out now, so it was the right move. Yeah.
He's not very highly.
People are going to want to move Salah on anyway. Because you have to move him on because of the fixture count. Like, you get into a point that. So I would never have brought him back in this week, whether he made up with Klopp or not.
You got Robbo there is absolutely flying. He's basically been what you'd have expected from maybe a Trent, isn't he? He's 15 points, another goal. Is that back to back goals now? I think it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Back to back goals, 9 points last week, 15 points this week.
Clean sheet wipe out again though.
No, he got subbed in the 64th and kept the clean sheet.
Oh right, yeah,
as well.
Yeah,
incredible. I know Cole's from our Discord. He's got him, so he was buzzing with that.
Van Dijk, another 1 pointer.
Yeah, terrible. We've got a question on Bruno Guimaraes, so we'll save that one. Obviously Cole Palmer then with 12 points. I think everyone's got him.
Standard.
I'll come to you, Graham, on Saka. Have you got Saka currently?
Yes, I have, yeah.
So what do you think we should be doing with him? Because I've been telling myself I was going to take him out for about the last 3 weeks, and I've kept him, and each time he's rewarded me. Do you think you're thinking of just keeping him now? Or
I've got a decision to make next week in my team because we're moving, and a lot of your questions you sent me from your patrons and people in your chat are about sort of moving towards the final game week and how many double game week players we got and moving towards the Man United Cup final. So for me next week, because I'm trying to go in that direction as well about double game weekers, I've got a choice next week out of Saka or Watkins, who I take out. Now, Saka, and you boys have said it on your show so well, and you have, Scott, as well, is even when he doesn't score, he gets bonus points. And like on Saturday, he scored the penalty. Showed big metal to score that penalty, by the way. But he got 12 points, didn't he? I think he got 12 points, 1 goal, and he must have got. Did he get bonus points or he got extra points? So if Watkins doesn't score, he doesn't tend to get the extra points. He doesn't take the pens. Saka's on pens. I'm tempted probably to keep him to the end of the season. If he's the one single game week player, and it's not because of my Arsenal bias, that I would probably keep, and that's my answer.
Yeah, I think I
The
saw
potential of him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
I'm almost in agreement.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a case of like if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. Almost. I saw that. I think he's only missed one. Might have been one penalty since out of 12 he's taken since those Euros.
Yeah.
As well. So he's getting a bit.
For me, it
better.
was like obviously. So when we did the live stream, it's like if you've got Saka, do not take him out, especially for that Bournemouth fixture. Do not take him out. Would I bring him in? No, because I was looking towards the doubles and looking towards this week coming up. So again, if you've got Saka now, and you probably like Graham says, he's comparing him to Watkins. I mean, Watkins is first one out of my team. The only thing that might save Watkins is if he does all right this week and they manage to somehow qualify for the final. If they do, then Watkins survives.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Other than that, he's gone. And Graham, you bang on there. Between the two, like Saka's upside is so much higher than Watkins, because if Watkins, he's a little bit like a Haaland. In fact, like he doesn't score. If he doesn't score, he doesn't get many points. So, yeah, a good week to have Saka. You got a decent points tally there.
I think next week he's got Man United away, Saka, whereas Watkins has got Liverpool, hasn't he? So they both got
tough fixtures on paper.
Tough fixtures, yeah.
1 second, lads.
Quick look at the ownership. Or transfers in and transfers out, actually. So Haaland most transferred in, Vardiol second most transferred in. I think all three of us might have us guys bought in Vardiol. Was he in your team currently, Graham?
Yeah, I transferred him in this week, Scott, didn't I?
Yeah,
so I took Virgil out and put Guardiola in because I want to move towards Man City players, and also they've got a double next week. Arsenal have only got the single, so I took out. So I've got to get. I'm looking at taking out another Arsenal defender if possible this week. But
we got away with one, didn't we? Because he's they lost the clean sheet, but he's won a penalty, so he's got the assist points for winning the penalty. So 8 points for him. So,
yes, his points were all right, weren't they, for someone who lost the clean sheet? Because yes,
not bad at all. And then Isak, you bought him in, didn't you, Ben?
Yeah,
25% of the top 1K. Happy with him? Good return.
Yeah, but could have been a lot more, couldn't it? But I'm happy with 9 points. At least he scored a goal. Could have been more though. Those 3 shots on target got wiped out with the missed penalty.
That's the frustrating one, isn't it? I see he's in your team.
How do you view that, Scott? Because he would have got 6 for the goal, wouldn't he, if he'd scored? And so it's almost like he lost 9 points there, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he grabbed the goal anyway. I think he's going to be in my plan. I think he is going to be in my plans. But yeah, it's a bit disheartening, isn't it, to lose the 3 for missing the pen?
Yeah.
I don't know. Tony would have been a bit gutted as well because Tony bought in Anthony Gordon, and so missed out on the assist points for that.
Yeah, that was a tough one, that, because I didn't want Isak to score, but then in the same breath, I lost the assist points, and then he scored back 2 minutes later, didn't he? So I'd just rather him have put the penalty in, to be honest. But yeah.
Most transferred out, Virgil van Dijk at 48% of the top 1K. I don't think anyone's complaining. I don't think anyone's complaining about that.
Get in the bin.
We thought it was a bit, when we were doing the stream, we thought 41% taking out Bruno Fernandes was more than we expected, but we've still not heard anything about his injury yet since we're recording this Sunday, so we'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, I took him out, Scott. Actually, I took him out.
Yeah,
I took out Bruno and put in Isaac this week. So, but I want to bring him back next week. That's the point.
So that could be the slot that you're thinking maybe Saka comes out for Bruno.
Well, it's either Saka. It'll be either Saka or Watkins for Bruno next week. As long as I've got no fires, as long as I've got no fires to put out, I want to move out a defender and one of those. So I'm leaning towards taking Watkins out because I don't think they're going to get through.
And then 22% of the Salah owners will be a bit gutted because he's had a great game, hasn't he, this evening?
Yeah,
be a bit gutted with that one, but again, they're probably moving towards the doubles.
Sorry, mate. I was just going to say, there's a friend of mine at work who's leading the competition. He had to take out either Salah or Diaz, and he for the other transfer he brought in. He had to keep Diaz in because he couldn't afford to keep Salah in with the transfer he moved in, so he dipped out there.
Ben, we've been talking Son, haven't we?
Yeah.
Ronaldo, because I got him in for the double. He disappointed. I thought he was useless that week, to be honest. He scored the pen against Arsenal, but I thought he weren't looking promising at all. And I watched the game today, and I still thought he looked useless. But he still come away with a goal, and I think he actually had done all right on bonus as well. But are you thinking he might be a good transfer in? Because I'm stuck because I do sort of fear him a little bit for next week.
Yeah, I think with Sheffield United, Burnley coming up in the next 2 game weeks, I think it's a very good transfer to bring in. I mean, Son's world class, and he doesn't need many opportunities to score. He can score with his left, with his right. He's pretty much 2-footed, and he doesn't, like I just said, he doesn't need many opportunities. Sheffield United and Burnley look atrocious at the back, so I think Spurs are going to score a lot of goals because they're all out attack, aren't they? They're not the best defensive team. They're more about attacking at the moment. So I think it'll be a good opportunity. And even he's got a good record against Man City as well. Man City can't keep a clean sheet. Son loves a ball in behind, and especially with a high line.
See the runs that Richarlison were making today.
Pardon?
Richarlison had 2 or 3 runs well in behind the full back line. He should have had a few more. He got 1, but I don't know. I think Richarlison's a better shout. Son's looked off it. He really has looked off it. I know he got a goal today, but like every other touch of the ball, it just seemed a heavy control or it
was clumsy.
Just really clumsy on the ball. I think if he wasn't the club captain, he'd have been hooked.
But he's on penalties as well, isn't he? Look at last week. He scored a penalty. He didn't do anything. It's the penalty thing, isn't it?
He's had 2 shots on target in the last three games. One was the goal today. One was the penalty against Arsenal, and he scored 2. So I'm worried because I can see it backfiring. But from what I've seen, they're not looking good. But the problem is Sheffield United don't look good, and neither do Burnley.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that is worrying me when you've been saying that. I don't think we need to cover the captaincy anymore. 80% went for Watkins, 15% went for Haaland. So, although it did backfire for us, I don't think it's punished us too much. No. Ben, do you want to just take us over the fixtures from now to the end? What's left?
Man City, Man United have the most fixtures now. A double game week in game week 35, and then it's pretty much a double game week, isn't it? But obviously we're going to have the extra transfers for game week 37. So 4 transfers for them each. Game week 36 is a single, which is everyone kicks off at 4:00. So we should get some leaks for the lineups for that. Newcastle have a decent double. Brighton at home and Man U away. Chelsea are away at Forest and Brighton. Brighton have Newcastle away and Chelsea at home, and Tottenham have Burnley and Man City at home, and obviously in 36 they'll have Sheffield United away. Is there any single game week teams that you like the look of?
Go on, Tony, you start us off.
You're in 35.
Yeah.
I think, as Graham touched on with Saka, Saka's a dangerous single game week player because he brings everything to the table plus penalties. Anybody still with Salah, if he's made up with Klopp, and obviously he had quite a dangerous game today. He should have had an absolute hatful, if I'm honest. At one point, he missed more or less an open net. But yeah, there's a couple of players that stick out that if you've got them, it's hard to remove them. That is where everyone's at. But I think everyone's going to be trying to attack them doubles, aren't they?
Yeah,
you might mix your captain up. You might mix your captain up for obviously for this next week coming up 35, where there's a few doublers. There's a lot more option rather than just Ollie Watkins, who's the only player doubling this time. So you've got that, and then obviously game week 36, you've got everyone who just singles. But yeah, I think Saka's probably the biggest one, but I wouldn't bring him in. As bad as that sounds, I just wouldn't bring him in. But then if I've got him, are you going to hold him one more week?
What do you think on Arsenal, Graham? Like, because I've got 3 Arsenal defence. Ben, are you still on 3?
Yeah.
We've had the triple clean sheet against Bournemouth. What do you reckon sort of defensive chances are against United? And we've already sort of spoke on Saka. But...
Well, this team is really good at keeping clean sheets, isn't it? The goalkeeper just won the Golden Glove. So, and it's difficult really because I think really Arsenal have only got the 2 games left. Man United away, Everton at home. I think potentially clean sheet against Everton. But if you go to double game week defenders, and we talked about it before, Man City just do not keep clean sheets, do they? Yeah, but you will get the appearance points, and like Guardiola, for example. He did get 8 points in that game, even though he didn't get a clean sheet. And he is quite well forward. He got an assist for the penalty. The penalty that I didn't think that was a penalty, but he got an assist for that. But he also had a shot at goal, and he's getting forward a lot more now on that left-hand side. And so I think him and Walker are most nailed of Man City players if you're going to bring him in for double game weeks. But I think there's an argument, that Arsenal are defending so well. I could see them going to Man United and keeping a clean sheet. As you know, because when you look at Man United, I know that defensively they're really poor, but their forward players have flattered to deceive all season. One of my regrets in Dream Team this year is I hung on to Rashford at the start for too long. I should have got him out earlier. Bruno's been the only one who's been delivering the points. Garnacho and Højlund, the other choices, they're pretty much hit and miss for me. So I could see Arsenal keeping 2 clean sheets, So I wouldn't necessarily say it would be a bad thing. I think you need your double game week players in your midfield and up top, where they're likely your Songs, as Ben said, Song at Sheffield United, Burnley might be a good pick. Song, Isak up top, and you need like Bruno, Foden, De Bruyne, Palmer. And if you're going to have one single game week player, Saka, I think you need to attack the midfield in your striking positions with your double game week players. So it wouldn't be a bad thing to hang on to Arsenal defenders in answer to your question, Scott.
I was thinking that I could be tempted to move on one of my Arsenal to a City, but only so that we can build towards having more doublers or players that are playing in 37.
Yeah, I think that's sensible, that, Scott.
But I was thinking though, there is every chance that you could this week bring in any City defender and get one game out of them potentially.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, so you could just be on a one for one almost, but yeah, I think you're right there. Quick fire one, Graham, because we've been debating this in our Discord, and I reckon you've got an unbiased opinion on it. Havertz, was it a pen? Said the Vardy one wasn't. What was the Havertz one?
Look. Do you know what I said on the show last night that it was a pen for me? He caught his training leg, but there was contact. Goalkeeper comes out has to get the ball for me. If he doesn't get the ball and he leaves something hanging there and it's contact with a player and he goes over, it's a pen. It's a soft one, I'll give you that. But Harry Kane's made a career out of getting penalties doing that.
Yeah.
I said that.
So it was a pen for me. I think there was 3 contentious decisions yesterday. The pen was one. You know, I thought it was a pen. I thought we were lucky with the goal. I thought that should have been given when they had a goal chalked off. And then there was the Christie over the top tackle on Saka, which I thought that was a red card. But you know, so I thought it was a pen. I must admit, a lot of people around me in the stadium yesterday, I sit halfway line up high. They were saying to me, "Oh, he left his leg there and he went over the goalkeeper's foot." So some people didn't think it was a pen. It's one of those ones that divided everyone yesterday, even Arsenal fans.
Well, there's your unbiased opinion.
That's it.
If you've enjoyed so far, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I know we're getting towards the end of the season, but there's still benefits of being a Patreon member because we're going to be doing the Euros as well, kicking that off straight away after the season ends. Get access to our Discord chat and all that sort of stuff. We've got this merch as well, the hoodies, the mugs, the tumblers. But Tony has got something else up his sleeve.
Yeah, but I can't do it, can I? Stupid bloody.
You can quickly describe it. We'll put the video. The video is out on our Twitter page.
Yeah, but cracking little diary here, Dream Team diary. Record everything that you're doing, all those bad decisions, all those good decisions. Comes with all the stickers. Stick your team in, record all your details, what you're going through in the season. And it comes in a nice little keepsake box for every season. Record everything. See it on the website at footyfits.co.uk. I know it's blurred out, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I have to sort that out. But yeah, footyfits.co.uk. Just go and have a gander. Be cracking for all you Dream Team geeks like me and like us that want to. That time you remember who was it? We were on about Mariam Pahars. I can't remember who it was now. Mariam Pahars. Them times that you want to remember.
Is there a blank page where you can with lines where you can just write "I will always captain Erling Haaland"?
There's a thoughts bit in there.
or Graham can write "I hate Robbie Fowler" over and over again.
There's watch list next week.
Have you got the football pitch? Have you got the football pitch on there? Can you take the line off? So he's, where he went down on his hands and knees and started sniffing the goal line. So just take the goal line because that might bring back bad memories. That might bring back bad memories for me, Tone.
We'll put the link in the description for that one. Right, talking points. I want to kick off with this is your words, not ours, because there's 2 Arsenal fans on here. But Tony wrote this up. Spurs in free fall. Yeah. Son useless. We've spoke about Son, but Spurs.
Yeah, possible. I think they're struggling. Spurs, aren't they? I think I don't know whether they're tired. Or just tired of Ange Postecoglou. It just seems like something's missing there. They look really good early doors. Their front foot pressing, it was really nice to begin with, but they've not looked great, have they? Son's not looked good. He's lost it a little bit. I just thought it was worth touching on that. I know they've got a double coming up against 2 teams that aren't doing great themselves, but I mean, Burnley are 7-1 to beat Spurs. If Burnley don't beat Spurs, they're relegated. I put 20 quid on it. I put 20 quid on Burnley to beat Spurs. I know.
Should we go captain picks first from Nathan Wisby? Ben, who you got? Top captain picks.
I think there's plenty of good options for this week. But the standout has got to be Haaland, hasn't it? Just with double game week this week. Obviously, in a single, you probably get away with it. But in a double, I think you've got to back Haaland. Even though it's two away games, they've got Fulham away and Tottenham away. But yeah, I think it's a good week for him. You also got Bruno Fernandes has got 2 home games, but both very tricky games. Arsenal at home and Newcastle at home. You could go for Foden as well. Foden's on a bit of form. KDB, they've got the same fixtures as obviously as Haaland. You got Cole Palmer, who's got Forest away and Brighton away. He could do well there, but I prefer at least one home fixture in there. Son with the Burnley at home is just very exciting. I think it's quite a good one. But they've got Man City at home as well. Man City need to win. Do Tottenham want to try and win because of Arsenal? Or I heard a guy on the TalkSport the other day. He's going, I don't care. I just want. He was just saying, I want Tottenham just to lose to Man City in that match. But then you could say the same thing about Man United and Arsenal, can't you? Will Man United say, "Oh, we'll lose"? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I think Man U are split, aren't they? I think United are a little bit split. I think Graham's probably similar to me. Like we probably live a bit nearer to each other. But I've got West Ham mates and Spurs mates, and the West Ham mates say they want to lose, and the Spurs mates say they want to lose as well. They're all London clubs that they've got left to play, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Fulham.
Graham, you reckon Spurs are going to do us a favour?
No. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. They've overachieved this year. They won the title in October. They celebrated on the pitch when they were top of the league. They've been found out, though, haven't they? They've been found out. He's not been helped by injuries, but they've been found out. He doesn't adapt in games, and teams have worked them out. And I just think, like today, I mean, it's the selection. And I agree with Tony. I mean, they look far better when Richarlison and Maddison on the pitch. He obviously wanted to play the extra midfielder, but the problem is the way he plays with the high line. Liverpool quickly worked out how to cut them off and go in behind Emerson Royale, who was a complete disaster. So will they do us a favour? Spurs fans, I know, and I know quite a lot of them are saying to me, we're not going to let you win the league. And I'm saying, it's not even going to come into debate because you're so crap. Basically, they're going to sort of like do you. And I've got a phone number for Spurs fans. It's 0800 1-0 1-0 1-0. So if they need any help at the end of the show. So no, all jokes aside, look. To be fair to him, the last few years they had 2 brilliant managers, Conte and Mourinho, but were very defensive. He's come in there. He's tried to play a different style. They're more attacking, better to watch. But I think he doesn't adapt in games. When I look at it tactically, I think, and teams have worked out how to play against Spurs. I think he's going to have to look again. I think he needs a few better players in certain positions. But and I think obviously they lost Harry Kane, so I think they've overachieved this year, Spurs.
I think that's fair.
I think what Graham's saying is probably right. It's like he doesn't seem to have a plan B. Now, when Spurs are good, they're good and they look good on the eye, and especially when he first come in and he had them. I mean, we've spoke for the last few years about how boring it's been watching the Spurs game, and God, they've been dreary. I mean, I'm just coming. Don't get me wrong, it's been enjoyable to watch, but people have now worked him out, and he has to have a plan B. You can't be that stubborn just to say, "Well, no, we're going to." And if we don't beat somebody this way, then do you know what I mean? You've got to mix it up. You have to mix it up. All teams do.
Onto the cap. Just last bit on the captaincy. Anyone that hasn't been touched on? Are you all leaning towards Haaland at the minute?
Nicholas Jackson.
You're going to go for it?
I think I might go different this week. Yeah.
I'm
I'm
sure
I'm going Haaland 1 week too late. But I think for me, it's a choice out of and I take Tony a really good shout there. Jackson is a differential that if it worked, he would really work for him. But for me, I can't look past Haaland, Song, or Isaac. That would be my 3 choices this week, and I'm leaning towards Haaland. But I think Isaac and Song will be good picks for this game week. Song's got the double at home to Burnley and Man City. He always scores against City. Burnley got a weak defence. Then you've got him for the Sheffield United game in the next game week. Isaac has got the double Brighton and Man United. He's on pens. Hopefully he won't carry on missing them. And he's in a rich vein of form, and hopefully a bit of Arsenal next season. So for me, it's Haaland, Song, or Isaac, Scott.
We'll jump
I'm
a
going
question.
Haaland.
We'll jump a question then, seeing as you ended it on that. Hopefully, it'll be at Arsenal next season. Connor, we've got quite a few Newcastle fans in the chat. Connor said, if you could pick one out of Bruno or Isak to join Arsenal, who'd you choose and why? Although we won't be having either, apparently.
Do you want me to come in? For me, I'd love him. I think he's right. I don't think we get either. I think they've got to sell one of those two, haven't they? That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true. Maybe he knows. Yeah. I would take Isaac. I think Bruno is a great player, a really great player, and you can see him in that Arsenal midfield. Isaac Lowe for me would be the one I'd take. But I think he's right. I don't think either of them will end up at Arsenal next season. But Isaac will be the man for me. I just think he's a great player.
Do you think he's the next Henry? Apparently, that's what the Newcastle fans reckon.
He's a different type of player to Henry, isn't he? But he's some of his finishing over the last few weeks, and also his general play, his movement, his top draw. And of course, he came with a great reputation. Did he come from Spain? Did he? I think he came from Spain, didn't he? Yeah, he came with a great reputation, and early in the season he seemed to be struggling, but he was carrying an injury. But I just think he's a great player. I'm full of admiration, and I've got a lot of time for Newcastle. I think they're what they've done under Eddie Howe. I think he's done a great job there, and I always enjoy watching Newcastle play. And when I go to Arsenal games, Newcastle fans are great fans. You can have a great banter with them after games, and they deserve success. Newcastle, they're a massive club. I hope they win a trophy soon. I do. And I hope they win one before Tottenham, obviously.
I said Bruno just because I think Partey might be on the way out for us. His injury issues, and Bruno has played 47 matches this season. He seems to be another one of these ones that just is available constantly. So I wouldn't mind chucking him in the mix with Rice and Ødegaard in the midfield.
Yeah, it's great midfield.
I think all the Premier League clubs missed a trick with both of them players. I think Bruno G, when he came over with a big reputation anyway, because he was one of the most solid midfielders in European football at the time, doing a really good job. And he's slotted into English football so well. He's a top midfielder, which would be a coup for Arsenal if they were to get him especially on the back of getting Declan Rice last year, because I think he was an absolute coup. He is unbelievable, Declan Rice. But then on Isak as well, it's like when he were at Sociedad, he had a good Euros or a good World Cup. He had a really good spell for Sweden, was it? And he just looked a proper player. And you're thinking, at his age, like, someone needs to get him quick. And obviously, Newcastle went and spent 60 million, was it, on him? Which is a fair amount. It's a fair chunk, to be fair. But now if you want to buy him, what price is this at now?
Topping 100, near 100, isn't it? It's
I mean, 100. It's going to be up 90, 100. Yeah, definitely. I just think that some of the Premier League clubs just missed a trick on them too. Just let them go to Newcastle.
the reason why it'd be a good move for Arsenal is he used to play with Odegaard, didn't he? Odegaard and him used to link up at Sociedad because Odegaard had a period at Sociedad, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
So that would be, and I think they'd be on the same wavelength. That'd be a good combination. So, but I don't think Newcastle are going to sell him. He's their best. Well, Newcastle fans tell me in the chat, I think he's your best player.
Connor's second part of his question, or one part of his other question was, should he captain Isak next game week? But you've all mentioned him as a decent captain shout, so I think that's covered. But is it crazy? Is it crazy to bring Gordon in? Tony, you've got him this week. You happy so far?
No, I do. So I brought Gordon in this week because I couldn't get to Isak because of I had to take out Jackson for him, so that weren't happening. Which I'm pretty happy about now. But yeah, I fancy Newcastle to get a few points. So Gordon came in, always a good point scorer. 2 games this week, double up Gordon and Isak. Yeah, I'm not against that.
We've got a new member to our Patreon, the Colonel 99.
The Colonel,
and he's promised to share his secret recipe with us if we answer this one question. Do I sell Ruben Diaz? Ben, what would you do with Ruben Diaz if you had him? And welcome to the Patreon, Mr. Colonel.
Yeah, welcome, Colonel. It's a tricky one, isn't it? He's missed the last 3 games now, and he come off at half-time in the semi-final against Chelsea. I don't think there was any reason why he came off.
He's been ill, hasn't he, Ben? He's been ill.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, he was ill. He was ill the week after, weren't he? Last week. But he was back this week, so I don't know why he didn't play again. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Double game week next week. I think it'd be one of the last things I'd do, because he's got the potential 2 matches this week anyway. So even if he misses 1 more match and then he's back in, you're still getting a single game week out of him. Yes, it'd be the last thing I'd do. But it is tempting to move him on to get another defender. But I think you got to look for the high ceiling players now if you're going to try and push on. So you want to go for the attacking players that could get your 20, 30 points.
Yeah, you've had a Kanji and Ake start the last 3, I think, together as well. And they haven't got the best injury records together, have they? So surely one's due a rest, you'd like to think.
Well, you'd like to think Ruben Diaz was the number 1 centre half, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably keep and do what you said. Any change in that from the other guys?
No, I agree with that. I think he's likely to probably play at least 1 in the if he's back feeling he's over his illness. I think he'll play at least 1 game this game week. I agree with Ben there. I think you've got to go for players with higher ceilings. Unless it depends if you've got any fires in your team, or there's players that you don't want to shift out. How many double game week players you've got in your team? I think Walker and Guardiola are 2 best picks for Man City defenders right now, in my opinion. But I would keep him. I think he's going to be back.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to group a couple of these questions because there's a lot asking about sort of our plans from game week 35 next week all the way through to the end of the season and sort of targeting the players that are sort of playing in that final game week. So we've got a question from Solo Higgins first, asking how many double game week players do we think is enough? We've also got Coles saying, do we think it's viable next week to take a punt if it means having Edison as your only non-playing player in game week 37? And then also Andy's sort of asking what players we sort of aim to have towards game week 37. So we'll kind of try and cover it sort of all in one. But how many double game weeks this week do you think is enough to go through with, or how many are you all planning to have?
I think at the minute I'm planning to have 10 double O's and 1 single, and that's only through not being able to get to 11.
For 35. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just click it up now. Where am I? Click on manage game week 35 team. So, yeah, I've got White, Gabriel, and Watkins singling. Obviously, 2 transfers. So, my current thoughts are Watkins if they go out of Europe and Gabriel out. And then, I'd probably. I don't know whether I bring in a doubler for that week and then, but planning towards that 37, that cup final, then I'm probably looking at maybe Walker, Bernardo Silva.
Which feels a bit more into 35, doesn't it?
I know it does. It depends. It depends where I finish this week. After the captaincy on Watkins, and I think United are still to play, and I've not got Fernandes. So, yeah, I'm playing it pretty much. How big of a risk do I need to take in this next week? But I think I'll have 10 doublers. Sorry.
How's it looking for you, Ben?
Hey,
how many singles or how many doubles?
Yeah, I'm looking to have 9. I've got 4 singles at the moment. Watkins is obviously one. It might be going if he can't get through to the final. Yeah, but I'm not sure if I'm going to target Man City yet, and just maybe target the nicer fixtures in 35 and 36, and obviously it's only one more extra game anyway. So I know you might say it's an easy game, Tony, but yeah, it's a local derby and it's a final, so it might not be that open. So it might be better to target the double in 35 rather than the 37 fixture. So I might look for something differential there.
Yeah, good shout.
What about you, Graham? How are you lining up for sort of next week? How many doublers?
I'm struggling, to be honest. I've got the problem I've got in my team at the moment is I can't have no more than 8 double game week players next week. That's because I've got Martinez, who I kept in because he said he had I could have moved him on, but I had the problem with Bruno. I could have maybe left Bruno in because he does tend to play, but I wanted to attack it with Isaac and keep Isaac and bring Bruno back. So I'm going to be stuck probably with. I think the goalkeeper is the position for me is the least highest scoring position in the team, and I think I want, as I said to you earlier, I'm not against having Arsenal defenders, at least 1, even 2. So because I think that they've got a great chance of getting clean sheets in the last 2 games. Certainly Everton, I can see that being a clean sheet. And I think the problem is if you go towards too many double game weeks, you start moving towards that final, it could work against you. If you because it's going to be impossible to get. You'd want probably at least 7 or 8 Man City players, only 2 or 3 Man United. If you put the Man United goalkeeper in and a Man United defender, you could end up minus. So it's a really difficult one. But I'd like to have like what Tony's got. I wish I had 9 or 10, but I'm only going to probably have 8, and that's because of the way my team's set up, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I'll make you feel better because I'm looking at 8 as well. Okay. I'm on triple Arsenal defence, and I've got Saka. I'm thinking I might lose. I might drop down 1 Arsenal defender, possibly keep Saka.
I'm thinking that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
You mentioned the keeper being the lowest scoring position, and Cole's in the questions has said, do you think it'd be viable to punt next week? So I'm guessing he means like bringing an Isak, for example. But it means having 1 less player in 37, which for him, it would be Ederson. I think because it's Ederson and the goalkeeper position is sort of a low scoring
Forget about the goal
position, I wouldn't worry. You're going to get, you could quite easily not get sort of any points from your keeper, couldn't you? So
yeah, I mean,
I think that's fine.
Rewind. How many pods did I go with no keeper? And I'm still sat. What is it today? 49th, and yeah, I don't think that's too dangerous to do.
Do you all agree on that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Edison's not going to play the cup final, is it? It's going to be Ortega, isn't it? He's going to play the cup final. So, and the people that brought Edison back in this week, he only got 2 points, didn't he? The problem with Edison is Man City. Goalkeepers don't have a lot of work to do when they play for Man City, do they? So they don't get many points. Yeah, I think Edison. If you're gonna, I would just leave him.
And then Andy's saying on the sort of assumption that most people will have a mixture of sort of 7 United and City players by the end of it. You'd have Onana, Dalot, Bruno, Vardiol, Foden, De Bruyne, Haaland. That would leave you sort of 4 other positions that you'd need to work towards having sort of a full squad for the final game week. Are there any sort of outside of those players that you might want to look to add eventually?
What for the final game week, you mean?
Yeah, so his question was to maximise the amount of players you can have playing in game week 37, you'd need a mixture of 7 United and City players after the game week 35 deadline, obviously because you've not got many transfers left. He said, considering most people's 7 would be Onana, Dalot, Bruno, Vardiol, Foden, De Bruyne, Haaland, that would leave you 4 other players that could be from any other side. Which 4 would it be best to add to the 7?
I wrote down Palmer, Isaac, Song, and if it's outside Man City or Man United, an Arsenal defender, White. I don't know what you think of that. I mean, I just because Palmer, Isaac, and Song have got double game weeks up to the last game, haven't they? They've got a double game week next week, then a single, but they play in that, don't they? They play the next 3 fixtures.
Yeah.
And then an Arsenal defender, if you want, they've only got 2 games with a potential clean sheet, or you could maybe add another Man City defender there. Even that's what I've done anyway. Outside those 7 he named, I think Palmer, Isaac, and potentially Song. They're the ones I'd be looking at.
Yeah, what do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I agree. I was looking at that. Son, Isaac, Palmer for this double, and they've got decent fixtures in 36 as well. So if you want to look for something out of the ordinary, they're the 3 I've pulled up.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah,
same names.
Yeah, I've not particularly got any more to add either. I'm going to be hanging on.
Boring, but
I'm going to be hanging on to Palmer to the end. I'm debating whether or not to keep Saka just through even the singles.
I'm debating to bring Saka back in 36 instead of going for a City player.
That's the thing that Arsenal last game of the season, we always seem to smash a load of goals in last game.
It's a good shout. I wouldn't say against that. Yeah.
Did we do them 5-0 last year? Was it 5-0? Did they get a consolation? I think it was 5-0 or 5-1, wasn't it? Last game. We played Everton last season, didn't we?
Was it Everton last year? I remember.
The last game of the season.
Have in my head, we always seem to smash a load of goals in for that one.
You played them this last game of the season when Wayne Rooney announced himself as well, didn't he?
Oh yeah. We don't want that one.
That was early in the season, actually, Ben. When they beat us 2-1 when he scored his goal.
Wasn't it last game of the season?
No, it was back in October. That was.
Oh right, I'm sure. Right.
But that's the thing is though, like when you take that approach, like I know it makes sense to get as many people in for game week 37, but we've seen it
work against you.
You get the appearance points, so you're gonna if you have a full team, you're gonna get a load more appearance points, and that could make the difference if someone in your mini league hasn't done that.
Yeah.
But you could also give up a player that's gonna get like a double figures in 36 to get, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know Rodri's been doing well, but just to use him as an example, you could get a Rodri who gets like a 3-4 pointer, or you could end up filling your defense with, I don't know, you put a Diaz in, or you put an extra centre back just to have a player, and they concede. You could be trading like a Saka 16 pointer for a 2, couldn't you? Or, depending on what happens, or a Dallo, you could get pummeled.
Well, that happened to Scott. That actually happened to me in the, not the World Cup just finished. Do you remember the World Cup in 2018 when I think it was France beat Croatia in the final, and I literally got all my defenders in lined up, and France scored 4 and Croatia scored 3, didn't they? So they all ended up minus. So it worked against you. I lost a lot of points through having everybody playing in that final. So. If you have Man City, Man United in that last game, you want more Man City, but you don't know what players he's going to pick. Man United players, if you go with too many defensive Man United players, you could easily end up costing you. And as Ben said, I think you want players with high upsides. But in that Man United team, unless you're going to gamble on Højlund, everyone's going to have Bruno, but if Højlund or Garnacho or Rashford, if you want to gamble,
and then they're going to be scoring against your defence, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
David 87's asked, is Jackson a viable option? But I think we've covered that. Tony's proven he's viable.
We've not touched on Graham's question from last week. Graham put in last week, Tony, were you waving the white flag when you put Jackson in? I left it in this week just to mix things up. But as well, Nathan Wisby, let's enjoy it, mate. He's put in just let's have a minute to enjoy the Jackson choice. It could go seriously wrong. It couldn't, but yeah, Graham, you were too quick on that one, mate. No white flag here. We're going for the win.
Could you quickly take the questions for us, Tony? But I think we've got Wadey and DT Phillip up next.
So Wadey's been in. Can Ipswich play Arsenal at home the opening day next season whilst wiping the chances clean sheet? Oh, Wadey, I think he's an Arsenal, an Ipswich fan.
Yeah.
Fair play, Wadey. Great season for Ipswich, and you'll soon learn that it's a lot better being in the Championship.
The only thing I'll say is that they scored most goals in the Championship this season, haven't they? I think they got about 97 goals, haven't they?
Yeah,
is that right?
A silly amount.
And they've let in more than any of the teams around them, I think. But they've scored more, and they're quite a good team to watch. And I think Ipswich deserved to be in the Premiership. I can remember they beat Arsenal in the 78 final. I was at that game. They beat us 1-0. So I'm glad to see them back. But you are right, Tony. The Premiership's a lot harder than the Championship, and you've seen with the 3 teams who come up last year gone straight back down, haven't they? So, or are going to likely to be going back down. So, but I'm glad to see Ipswich get up, and I think that in answer to your question, they're capable of scoring goals. That's one thing I will say.
Yeah, I mean it's so harsh because we're talking about an Ipswich side that they played well, they deserve to be promoted, and I just think. Now, there's the gulf between the Premier League and the Championship. The Championship is the best league in the world. Best league in the world. Forget about the Premier League. Like, the quality in the Premier League, don't get me wrong, it's up there. But you've got, when you talk about competitive leagues, the Championship, there's no league like it. It's unbelievable. But yeah, they'll get found out. They'll get found out in Premier League. I know they've got some decent owners, to be fair, who will help them as much as they can. And if Kieran McKenna can you've got to Burnley got caught out this year because they tried to sign a completely new team. I think that was their downfall. I think you've got to keep a nucleus together and then invest in maybe a little bit of quality around it. And you never know, they've got a chance, but it's so much more difficult up there. It's ruthless. It's ruthless in Premier League.
It's very difficult because basically, if you look at teams in recent years, Nottingham Forest went out and signed loads of players, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they're struggling now to stay up. Norwich always try and go with the team that they've got that got them up, and they yo up and down. And I think well, you've got to get. I think you've got to keep the nucleus of what you've got and add the best quality you possibly can. It's very, very difficult, isn't it? And then it's all about just staying up for a few seasons and then building from there. And the ones that are one or two have been able to do that and grow, but most of them don't, do they? It's a real tough league.
It's so hard. Like that first season, if you can stay up, then it's the likes of Bournemouth, say, Brentford have done it. And you need a goal scorer. They need to bring somebody score goals in the Premier League. And usually on the cheap as well, because everyone's after the same players, and it's a tough one. Ipswich will probably struggle. Leicester, they already have the nucleus of a Premier League squad. We don't even have to speak about that. That Leicester side that won the Championship this season can compete in the Premier League, no doubt whatsoever. And it's possibly the same with Leeds and Southampton, but they've found themselves in the playoffs. It wouldn't surprise me if both of them fail to get up. And there's like some surprise from West Brom, because West Brom look pretty solid. But the Championship is such a good league. So good. Have you enjoyed the season, Ben?
I was loving it up until about February. We were absolutely smashing it. It was so easy. We were winning every game. We're breaking records. And then it just sort of, I think the lads probably thought they nailed it. And then they took the foot off the pedal a little bit. And they started losing every week. And then what was it, 17 points clear in February or something daft like that. We were going to break the Reading's record easy, 108 points. And then we just kept losing and losing and losing. I was like, what the hell's going on here? And then we ended up, was it 4 weeks ago? Not even that, 3 weeks ago, we lost at Millwall and Plymouth in the same week. All the dodgy fixtures, by the way, because they put us on a Tuesday on a Friday.
Sending Rovers further down.
Eh?
Sending Rovers further down, losing to Plymouth, losing to Millwall.
Long journeys like London, then back up and then down to Plymouth. So we lost them, and then it was like, right, the boys had a meeting, and then Vardy pulled all the boys in without the manager and everything. He said, right, we've got to pull our finger out here and get the boys over the line. And I think they went they beat West Brom at home. And it was a tight game. They changed the tactics. They didn't play like this Enzo ball. They played counter-attacking. They let them have the ball. And they were unlucky not to win, actually, West Brom. They had some good chances, but we still beat them. And then they went at home against Southampton. And once we got that second goal, they did the same thing. They had control of the game, and we just done them on the counter and beat them 5-0. And then we all had And then after Leeds lost at QPR, we were promoted, and all we had to do was beat Preston on the Monday night to get the championship. So, yeah. And then they've been on the beers since Friday.
Yeah, I was hoping out there. I was trying to pour them more sambucas.
They were absolutely slaughtered. They were on the beer Friday night, Saturday night. They're around the manager's house at 3:00 in the morning, knocking on his door, and then. They had the match on Sunday. They had the match on Monday, and they still managed to win that. But then they were on the piss again for the next week. So they've been on it like mad. So yeah, they ended up losing the last game to Blackburn, which Blackburn managed to stay up, didn't they?
If you'd have beat us, mate, we were relegated.
I know.
All the results went against us.
Yeah.
We were the least likely by the bookies odds to go down. But if we hadn't have beat you, we were down.
Yeah.
Sorry, we needed a point, but still, I mean, it's a big ask for us to come to your place, champions, and get anything. So, we're emotional. Good day. Good day.
Should we go on to the team updates?
Ben, go on.
You're up first. How'd you get on?
97 points. Not too bad. I was quite happy with that. Raya, Gabriel, and White all got me a clean sheet. And Vardio got me an 8-pointer. De Bruyne 5 points. Foden 6. Palmer 12. Fernandez, I've still got him in there. So he's going to hopefully play tomorrow. He doesn't miss matches, does he, for injury? So hopefully he'll manage to play. Isaac got me 9 points, who I brought in this week. Watkins, my worst player, and I ended up captaining him, but he's still got another game, so still hopeful. I could see that swinging backwards and forth. Like, look at that 4-2 last week. If it's a similar game again, we'll be laughing. Hopefully Watkins gets a few. And Haaland, 29 points. Yeah, I brought Vardio in and Isaac for Van Dijk and Odegaard. Odegaard had another good game, didn't he? But only 3 points.
Just looking at Graham's team. Graham's team's quite similar to yours, isn't it? He's got this, just the keeper difference. Do you want to go next, Graham?
Yeah, sure. I mean, first of all, I was at the game like you on Saturday, Scott. I thought Odegaard was unbelievable on Saturday. But in Dream Team terms, he missed that chance, didn't he? That easy chance when you back a player with his ability to score, he would have got 6 points there. So what I did this week, Scott, was I took out Van Dijk about time. So my move to Guardiola worked in that he got 8 points, even though he didn't keep a clean sheet. I did have Bruno the previous week. I was a bit worried about the injury news, even despite the fact he always plays. I just couldn't afford the risk, really. It was because I had Martinez or Bruno both flagged, and I'm thinking Martinez could play the second game, even if he misses the Brighton game. Bruno only had the single. Plus, about the goalkeeper, as I've said, is not the highest scoring position in the team. So I thought I'd take the hit there, hope he plays the second game. So I brought in Isaac for Bruno. Disappointed that Isaac missed the penalty, but he still got 9 points. So I suppose the transfers technically worked. Disappointed because I did think about Haaland as captain. And I think a few of the guys at work in our league at work did think about it, and two did captain him. A lot of them debate whether Watkins, and like what Tony said, we played safe with Watkins because he had the double, but Haaland was in everybody's thoughts. So overall, wasn't too disappointed there. But I've dropped on the table I was about 700 and something, and I'm now down to 900. Obviously, people got above me then who captain Haaland, I assume. And so overall, I quite like the look of the team. But if I'd bought in Ederson, it would have been my choice. I would have only got 2 points. And Martinez could play the second game. So, unless I was going to captain Haaland, I think the team probably did as well as it could have done, Scott. So overall, fourth now in my mini league at work, but 950 on the game. So slightly disappointing, but I've still got a reasonable team there, and still going hard to try and get as high up that board as I can.
Obviously, you said they're listening, so you don't disclose. But you thinking something a bit out there then? If you're fourth in your mini league, time to take a risk.
Yes, I am thinking of a risk. So I know there's a couple of guys watching this. So I'm not going to say what I'm going to do. What I need is I need to talk to Tony off air to give me that inspiration to do a Jackson. Then he's got to give me Another Jackson tweak, I think.
We'll save that then. We'll save that
Yeah.
for after.
Yeah.
Be afraid, work teammates.
Yeah.
Tony, talk us through.
Yeah, good week. Good week this week so far. Obviously, no Fernandez, but I'm happy with 108. Edison 2, White 8, Gabriel 8, Vardiel 8. It was a transfer in for Van Dijk. Solid option there. So yeah, that worked out. Foden 6, De Bruyne 5, Palmer 12, Gordon another transfer in. I transferred out. Can't think who went out. Hold on. Fernandez, sorry.
Yeah, Bruno.
Yeah, I transferred out Bruno. Yeah, to Gordon for 7 points. I mean, obviously we've heard about Fernandez possibly being injured. I really do hope he is now. If not, I hope he doesn't beat a 7-point haul from Gordon, who did all right. Could have been better, but Watkins up top, captain, 4 points. It's not great, is it? But Haaland 29, and my mate Nicholas Jackson 19 points. What a legend! Absolute legend.
Some cojones on you, Tony.
Well, you got to have them. You got to have them when you're going for the top, haven't you?
Didn't Troy Deeney say that once about the Arsenal?
Yeah.
Didn't have any cojones.
Can't stand him.
I can't stand him either. He scored in the playoffs against us in the last minute after we missed the penalty.
Oh, that was that famous moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, they play it on Sky all the time. Just like
yeah, they do.
That's so heartbreaking.
He got sacked. Was he not working at Forest Green? Did he get Forest Green manager or something like that? He got sacked for being a prick. Was he
you know, he got his comeuppance actually, Troy Deeney, because he said Arsenal had no cojones and all that, and he always going in on Arsenal. And then when we played him at the Emirates a few years ago, I think he missed a penalty. Petr Cech, his only ever save for Arsenal I can recall from a penalty was Troy Deeney. He missed a penalty. So it's funny how some things come back and bite you in the arse, doesn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah.
I know he had a bit of a checkered pass as well, Troy Deeney. I think he come out of prison.
Yeah.
He assaulted someone quite badly, I think.
To be fair to him, I quite like him when he's on the TV doing his punditry. I think he's all right.
I think he knows football, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think whenever you listen to somebody who speaks very sensibly about the game, whether that's for your team or against your team, or
you respect him.
So long as he know what they're on about and they're not talking shy, I think you have that little bit of respect, don't you?
Yeah.
He's just started a podcast with Simon Jordan and Graham Souness called Up Front or something like that. And it's like a player's perspective, a manager's perspective, and an owner's perspective. And you know how Simon Jordan is, and Graham Souness, they just say it how it is. So
they're quality.
Yeah,
they are quality. And to be fair to Deeney, like obviously he's had his past, hasn't he? If I were the mother of the son that he wrong did, but yeah.
He said he's not retired from football either.
Oh, fuck off.
He said he's still not retired, so he could do a job for someone.
If he's in Dream Team at the moment and they're in the Premier League, would he be a punt for the last 2 games of the season?
Oh, fuck off. Yeah, absolutely no chance.
I've got 100 for the week so far. Triple Arsenal defence, clean sheet. Vardiol come in for VVD. Kept Saka. He's done well this week. Now, I'm not sure whether I can take him out. Foden, Palmer, De Bruyne, same as all you lads. I've kept hold of Fernandez though, and my decision was who to get. I had no Haaland, so I had to get Haaland back in for someone. It was Son, Saka, or Bruno. Saka obviously done well. Happy to keep him. Just hoping that Bruno does play. I know you're hoping that he's missing, but I'm hoping.
Yeah,
he
sorry,
does
Scott. It's no personal.
He'll play. He'll play, Scott. Don't worry.
Especially after Son's somehow got 11 points. Somehow.
Mm.
And now I'm looking at these next 3 thinking Sonny actually could come out on top of Bruno. But yeah.
I'll tell you what,
Bruno
Son's
plays.
he's been stealing points. Literally stealing points.
I always end up on the wrong side of these, whichever way I play it. But yeah, Captain Watkins, same as everyone else. And at least I brought Haaland back in. At least I did finally make my mind up, because otherwise I would have missed out on 29.
Yeah, imagine, was it a few of the lads in the Discord, they took Haaland out that week, he scored 5 goals. At least you're getting half of the points if you've got him in your team. If you haven't got him in your team at all, that's when it's bad, and you've other people captained him.
It's so painful, that.
And surprisingly, up until the Liverpool game earlier, I was actually on a green arrow, even after not captaining Haaland. I've gone down about 11 places now. After some people maybe had Salah or Robertson, but yeah, to have fallen 11 places with not captaining a Haaland that got 29 points, that you got to take that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Mini leagues. It's getting down to the wire now. So Tonic Cash League.
I'm up there, but I'm back up there.
Yeah, we got Connor Tobin up in 3rd, very own Tony in 2nd, and S Power's absolutely smashing it. Is he 8th overall at the moment? So
yeah, he's flying, isn't he? Well played. Keep it going, Powell. As much as I don't want you to beat me in this, like, it'd be nice if because he's in our Patreon, is he?
Yeah. To be fair, he was already doing well when he joined, so we can't take the full credit.
What about last month's winners?
Oh yeah, Garni, you got him there?
No, I haven't got to hand. Tony will know, won't he?
I'll let you find them while I carry on, but
yeah, go on.
Obviously, Mr. Powell, top of the Cash League, and he's 8th overall. And we've also got Jay Hannell, who's not in this Cash League here, but he's number 1 at the minute in the world, and he's in our Discord as well. So well done to him.
Well done, Captain Haaland this week.
I know we're just shouting out the top 3 only, but look at the captaincy there. If you're looking and thinking, oh, why have I captained Watkins when Haaland's done so well? We've got 9 of the top 10 in the Cash League captained Watkins.
Yeah.
Shout out to B. McLaren, who went Haaland. But yeah, you weren't alone going Watkins. Do you want to do the second chance, Ben?
Yeah. Top 3, Anthony Sutcliffe, G. Walker.
I'm there again.
Tom Gledhill, top.
You got that top 3, Tony?
I'm doing it. I'm trying to find it.
Just give me a wave once you got it. Tonic tag team leaderboard. Me and Connor up in 3rd. So myself and Connor managed to bag 3rd. We're hunting you down. In 2nd, Paul McNulty and Andrew Ferguson. The Sky Fantasy Football Podcast duo. And then up in 1st, I think they've got it wrapped up. What's that? Miles clear. Baz and Ben smashing it.
I've got the monthly winners. If you want them.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
I'm still there scrolling. Wow, where is it? Yeah, go on.
Joint 3rd, we have A. Matthews and B. Lee. Yeah.
Split prize.
2nd place, we got Plevna. And top of the shop, Paul McNulty.
Yeah.
If you haven't,
Plevna, drop your bank details into the Discord, please, mate. Or on Twitter, either or, to @Dream Team Tonic. We'll sort that out. But yeah, we're sorted, Paul. Ben, you're sorted.
Yeah. About time I've done something this season. I nearly messed it up as well because I completely forgot about the monthly prizes and I took Saka out and I should have just kept him in. I went for Odegaard and tried a bit of differential to try and get up the leaderboard. Should have just kept Saka and got third place, nailed it.
We've got the Patreon only cash league. We've got B Coles in third, C Tobin in second, and then Tony. He's everywhere. Up in
Nicholas
first.
Jackson, that.
Any words?
Yeah, just Nicholas Jackson.
That's it. Who's League One? Ben, you League One?
No, that's
you
James.
can read League.
Oh, it's Fricker. To be fair, where is Fricker? Look at him. How far down is Fricker? Jesus Christ.
To be fair, a lot of the managers in League One are like top 100 managers. They've like smashed it this year.
It's tough, isn't it? Just random.
You've got G Payne in third, M Warner second, and L Giles first.
Tony Championship.
Championship is third, Jay McGow, second, Connor Tobin, and top of the shop, it's me. Get in. I'm qualifying for this Champions League.
And then in the Prem, third place, B Coles. In second, we've got O'Higgins, and in first, B McCormack.
Where are you, Harris?
You can't. I can't read out myself because fourth place ain't a trophy, is it? We know that, Graham. Fourth place ain't a trophy. But that is it, gentlemen. It's been brilliant having you on, Graham.
I've really enjoyed it and appreciate the invite, guys. And keep doing the show. I'll be following it every week. Don't worry. And I'll be messaging Tone for some advice, I think, as I start attacking the final weeks. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Really enjoyed it, and keep doing what you're doing. It's a great show. It's a great thing you've devised here. I think I'm gonna have to become a patron, actually.
If you want to check out the AFTV Tactical Insight show as well, we'll put a link in the description below for that. When's the next episode out, Graham?
Well, funny enough, they dropped it tonight. We recorded it. Normally, I do it on a Monday morning, but they dropped it. We did it straight after the game on Saturday, which is always a bit more difficult because I literally had to walk straight to the studio from the game and just do it without any prep, So, but they've uploaded it. It's on there on the AFTV website on YouTube. Now you can watch the review of the game against Bournemouth, but normally they come out on a Monday.
Well, if we do the unthinkable against Everton, surely you're not going to be in any fit state to do the Tactical Insight on for at least a week, are you? When are you going to do that?
I'll tell you what, I'll be bringing the booze into the studio on Monday morning. I'll tell you.
Happy days.
Sounds good. Well, it's been brilliant. Cheers, lads.
Cheers.
Yeah, if you enjoyed it, please do leave a like and subscribe. And there'll be a link in the description if you want to become a Patreon member as well. Cheers, lads. We'll see you all on the next one.
Cheers
everyone.
Take care. Good night.